You ever walk into a store just trying to buy diapers and milk and end up in the middle of a storm you didn't start? That's where my story begins. A regular Tuesday morning in a small town outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. My name's Marcus Lane. I'd spent years in the Navy's special operations teams. Sand, sweat, and silence were nothing new to me. But nothing made my hands shake like the thought of being a first-time dad. My wife, Naomi, was 8 months along. I'd promised her I'd pick up some baby stuff, make it back in time for dinner. Nothing heroic about it. Just a man getting ready to be a dad. I walked through that grocery store like I'd done 100 times before. Leather jacket frayed at the cuffs, jeans faded, pushing a cart full of tiny things, formula diapers, a teddy bear. Stuff that didn't look like much, but meant the world to me. I was smiling at that teddy bear, thinking about our little girl curling up to it one day when I heard a whisper behind me. A woman muttered, "Figures, living off welfare." Her husband didn't say anything, but his eyes said plenty. I'd learned to take a deep breath at moments like that, swallow the words, keep moving. I wasn't going to let anyone ruin this day. What I didn't know was that my past, my patience, and my whole identity were about to get tested in front of a crowd of strangers. He came in loud, Grant Madsen. Around town, everybody knew his type badge, outshirt unbuttoned enough so the badge caught the light. He didn't walk. He prowled. He barked at a kid with a cart, flashed his badge, and an old lady made sure everyone saw who he thought he was. He had that kind of belly swagger, the "I dare you to say something" energy, and he locked eyes on me like a hawk. "Step aside," he said, voice sharp enough to cut glass. "You don't belong here." He said it loud so the whole line could hear. The cashier froze. A mom pulled her kid closer. Phones were halfway out of pockets, but nobody brave enough yet to hit record. I kept my hands on the cart and my eyes on the milk, said quietly, "I'm just shopping same as you." That was it. No attitude, no yelling, just the truth. But to a man like Madsen, calm sounded like defiance. He stepped closer, cigarette breath, a smirk twisting his mouth. "You think you are equal to me," he hissed, waiting for me to blink, to flinch, to shrink. I didn't. I thought about Naomi at home, belly round and glowing, waiting for me to walk through the door with baby bottles and groceries. I told myself, don't give him the excuse he's hunting for. But he didn't stop. "What does a black man know about responsibility?" he shouted, dragging out the word black like it tasted bad in his mouth. You could hear the fluorescent lights buzzing the barcode scanner, beeping, the blood rushing in my ears. A young woman whispered, he didn't do anything wrong. Phones were finally coming up, shaky but determined. Then the punch came, fast and hot. His fist slammed into my face so hard the world went white. My lips split. Blood hit the floor. A kid started crying. He laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. Black and weak, he growled, "You'll just swallow your blood and live with it." And something in me snapped, but not wild. It was cold, focused like a switch, flipping back to the old me. Years of training don't vanish. They hide under your skin until they're called. I wiped my mouth, tasted iron, and said quietly, "You picked the wrong man to hit." He blinked. Maybe he thought I'd beg. Maybe he thought the badge made him untouchable. Before the crowd could even breathe, my body moved clean, precise, no wasted motion. My fist hit his jaw like a hammer. His head snapped back, blood spraying like paint across the white tile. He crumpled into the cereal shelf, teeth scattering like dice. Phones went up everywhere, live streams flashing. People gasped, cheered, cursed, years of bottled-up rage exploding in one grocery aisle. He tried to crawl, holding up his badge like a shield. "I'm a cop," he croaked. "You're going to jail." But to the crowd, that badge now looked like a toy. I reached into my jacket, pulled out my federal ID, defense security advisor, and held it high. "I know the law better than you," I said. The whole store went silent for a beat, then erupted. Someone shouted, "He's the real law." Hashtags started right there, people yelling into phones, "Look what's happening." But that wasn't the end. By the time I got home that night, the headlines had flipped. Violent black man attacks officer. The video edited to show only my counterpunch. Anonymous threats started flooding our phones. Then one night, Naomi and I came home to find our door kicked in. Furniture smashed, nothing stolen, just a note on the table. If you don't stay quiet, your wife will pay. I stood there staring at that note, Naomi trembling behind me, her hands over her belly. That was the moment the soldier in me came roaring back to life. I called old teammates, set up cameras, bolted the doors. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about keeping my family alive. The trial started weeks later. The courthouse steps packed with people, some chanting my name, some calling me a thug. Inside, Madsen hobbled in, wrapped in gauze like a mummy, eyes darting for sympathy. His lawyer played the photos like a horror reel, stitches, bruises, missing teeth. The prosecutor called me a trained killer who chose to attack a public servant. They painted me as a monster, tried to turn my discipline into menace. I sat still. My wife squeezed my hand until our knuckles went white. I didn't rise, didn't shout. I knew we had one shot at the truth. Then came the turning point. My lawyer handed over the USB from my body cam, clear, crisp footage of everything. Madsen slurs his first punch, the blood. My single counterpunch. The courtroom went so quiet you could hear people breathing. His words blasted from the speakers. You pathetic black bastard. His fist swung first. My lips split. And only then did I hit back. The jury flinched. A man whispered, "We were lied to." And then like an avalanche, the rest came down. A mother walked in holding a photo of her teenage son's skull fractured by the same officer years earlier. My lawyer showed the buried complaints, names, dates, signatures, all ignored. One by one, people in the back stood up. He beat me. He shoved me. He ruined my life. It stopped being my trial. It became his. By afternoon, the judge announced a federal investigation. A federal officer walked up, unclipped the badge from Madsen's chest right there in court. The sound of the metal coming off was soft, but it felt like a door slamming shut. The crowd gasped, then clapped, then roared. For the first time, the man who had swaggered through our town untouchable was just a man stripped of the armor he'd abused. I didn't smile walking out of that courthouse. I didn't pump my fist or pose for cameras. I just held Naomi's hand and breathed. People cheered anyway. They didn't just see me, they saw themselves, their brothers, their fathers, their kids who'd been told to stay quiet. But if you're hoping for a tidy ending, there isn't one. The case blew open bigger than anyone expected. News networks tried to spin it both ways. Some called me a hero. Some called me reckless. Even now, months later, strangers come up to me with stories, with tears, with warnings. My daughter's almost here. My wife still jumps when the doorbell rings. I'm telling you this because behind every headline is a life. Behind every viral clip is someone's family, someone's fear, someone's breaking point. I never wanted to be a symbol. I just wanted to be a date buying baby formula. And now I want to hear from you. What do you see when you watch a man in uniform abuse his power? What do you believe is right or wrong when somebody finally fights back? Have you ever witnessed something like this, where the story flipped in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, tell me your city, tell me your story, because justice isn't a hashtag. It's the voices of people who refuse to stay quiet.